Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles with my co-host again, Jim Hughes.
Hello, Terry. It's good to have you with us.
Still
Hope you're
doing
doing
that
good.
every other week thing, and it seems to be working out for us.
Doing our news update, and I saw a few of those as well.
Yeah, hopefully everybody else is too. And in this week's news, the township trustee resigns early in his term, and the DDA considers $1,000 demolition program, and a varsity basketball player continues to make history. All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. Well, the Oxford Township trustee Jeffrey Ontw resigned from the board after serving a few months of his 4-year term. Just elected in November of last year, Ontw recently submitted his resignation to Supervisor Jack Curtis, and that's this week that happened, due to a personal matter. Now that the board accepted his resignation, the township is looking for a resident to step up and apply to fill the vacant seat. If anyone is interested, they have until May 7th to submit their resume and a letter of interest to the township clerk's office. Applications must be made in person, and applicants must be at least 18 years old, an Oxford Township resident or an Oxford Village resident for at least 30 days, and a registered voter. Interviews are scheduled for May 14th at the Township Board meeting. The appointee will then serve until November 2026 midterm election. Those with questions can contact the Oxford Township offices at 248-628-9787. Jim?
The Oxford Downtown Development Authority is getting ready for demolition. Recently, the DDA opened up a blight grant program to offer money to demolish blighted structures. Executive Director Kimberly Smith said that the DDA does not yet have all the criteria for the program, but will consider blighted structures as those beyond repair as a statute. Allowing the DDA to remove these structures in the district, and the program will serve as a way to reward people for helping clean up its district. The program came out of after the owners of the Hampton Block and Supply building discussed demolishing the building. That estimated cost $60,000. The DDA program would cover up to $7,500 for each project that it actually supports. Terry.
Well, after many months' wait, the Oxford downtown area has a new breakfast cafe. It's called the Good Egg Cafe. Operator and owner Frank McCaj, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, is hoping to elevate the breakfast experience, saying he has been working on and off in the restaurant industry since he was 11 years old. Once the space at 51 Diner became available, he said he could not pass up the opportunity. Many of the items on the menu are made in-house, including scratch-made pancakes and hand-cut brioche French toast, his favorite menu item. Choosing Oxford for this venue is because of family ties to the community, and he said he cannot wait to serve the community the best breakfast in town. The Good Egg Breakfast Cafe is open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 days a week. For more information, call them at 248-572-4315. Jim?
Nice people. They actually live really close to my parents.
Very good news.
It's no-haz season. Earlier this month, the first no-haz day of the year was actually hosted at Pine Knob Music Theater. No-haz is a group of Oakland County communities that have united to provide residents with a safe, reliable, and environmentally responsible way to dispose household hazardous waste. No-haz events are good opportunities to get rid of old paint cans, oil, electronics, and other items that can be dangerous if they're on the ground or in garbage cans. The events are absolutely no cost to Oxford Township residents, and the next event will actually take place in the township here at the Oxford Middle School during the first week of June. To make a drop-off process even quicker, No-Haz encourages residents to pre-register your drop-off. You can do that online to separate household hazardous waste by general, paint, and electronics. Proof of residency or a driver's license required, and you can remain in your vehicle at the time. The volunteers will remove the hazardous waste. A list of acceptable materials and more information is available right there at their website. Log on when you can at nohaz.com. Terry.
Well, the man accused of going on a senseless shooting rampage in Oxford on Christmas Eve last year appeared in court recently under a preliminary examination. The Flint man, Melik LaTroy Webb, allegedly killed one woman and hurt two others, all of whom authorities say were trying to help him. The 71-year-old Barbara Wolf was the only person to pass away from the incident. Webb is charged with open murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, carjacking, 2 counts of felonious assault, possession of a firearm by a person not allowed to have one, and 10 counts of felony firearm. He was ordered to stand trial in Oakland County Circuit Court after Rochester District Court Judge Nancy Karniak found that there was a probable cause in the case. According to the Oakland County Sheriff, Webb is a repeat offender who was let out of jail early, right before the shooting. He was recently arraigned again because the prosecutor's office amended some of his charges. We will continue to provide updates as we learn more about this story. Jim?
Michigan farmers are actually at a critical point right now for survival, and they're hoping the bipartisan Supporting Farm Operations Act will save them. The act would actually freeze the adverse effect wage rate, which is a mandated wage from the Federal Department of Labor that applies to temporary guest workers. Many Michigan farmers rely on these seasonal guest workers, but the wage rate increase have become too much for many to survive. In just 6 years, the adverse effect wage rate has increased 34% from around $13.50 an hour in 2019 to $18.50 an hour in 2025. The mandated cost put the strain on both the farmers and the consumers as the price gets passed along. That's where the Supporting Farm Operations Act comes in, introduced by Michigan Representative John Moliner. The act would allow for a farming wage pause while Congress and the White House will work together to find out long-term solutions to agricultural workforce challenges. Since 2012, Michigan has lost 20,000 acres of fruits and vegetables, and the bill aims to slow this rate. The latest action on the bill was in late February, and it currently sits in the committee on the judiciary side. Terry.
There are now brand new car seat laws in Michigan hoping to keep kids even safer while they're on the road. The new law was signed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer last spring, and the regulations went into place April 2nd. Infants must now remain in a car seat facing, a rear seat facing child car seat until they're at least 2 years old and have reached the height and weight limits set by the manufacturer. Michigan law used to state that only children under age 1 should remain rear facing. Age requirements for other seats increased as well. A child must be harnessed in a rear or forward facing seat until they're at least 5 years old. The only age range that did not change was for the oldest children. Children under the age of 8 who are under 4 feet 9 inches tall are still required to use a booster seat, and it is recommended that all children ages 12 and under sit in the back seat. Experts say using the car or booster seat that is right for your child's age and size can help prevent injuries and fatalities caused by crashes. Jim?
And in our separate segment, we like to call this one Behind the Lens. A brand new ride that waits almost over. The wait is almost over for a new fire engine to join Oxford's fleet. The Sutphen Corporation fire engine is now in production, with every meeting in detail bringing it closer to reality. The Oxford Fire Department is on track for a summer arrival. Get ready to see it on the streets and help the department's mission to serve and support its actual residents. Good stuff there by the fire department.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got a car seat story, and I know I've shared it here before.
Yes, you have. Chief Majestic is really happy about that truck. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's important too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But
he's very
I always to new parents, which, and I'm not saying everybody does this, but yeah, my older son, who now will be 35 in May,
That was a while ago.
had everything, all the dots and T's crossed, all the things were packed, everything was good. We were going to pick him up, got all the way over to the hospital at 13 and Woodward, went to go there, and the lady goes, "Where's the car seat?" Okay, I'll be back. Got to remember that car
Gotta
seat.
have that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that one I never forgot, and she had.
So important.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
something.
I have a grandson that's not real happy about this new law because he's still 12, but he's like 5 foot something or other.
He's got to be in the car seat.
He's got to be in the back seat. He's been riding around in the front seat because he's taller than his dad by a couple inches. So he's been able to ride in the front seat. Now 12 and under.
I got to read that story a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
What's the age range again?
12, over 12, they can sit in the front.
Oh, wow.
A 13-year-old. Under 12, 12 and under, they have to sit in the back. So it's like back in the back seat for you again, Grayson.
When
Poor
we
kid.
were on trips, Mom had that mom reach when we were like 12
yeah,
in the back. Yeah. She could drive and do stuff to you back
right.
there.
Hang on
You
to
didn't mess
kid.
around.
Well, let's see
anyways.
what Dave has to say.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe he'll talk about it too.
Headed up to World Champs. That's in our last story today. Terry's going to share that with you. Up and coming, as Terry indicated, Dave Kenny will have Auto Talk, Science in the News. Not sure if he's going to be in a booster seat, but you are watching Oxford News This Week.
We'll be back.
When a crisis hits, close to home and across the globe, nonprofits are on the front lines, ready to serve.
Keep coming.
The demand for charitable services has skyrocketed, and nonprofits are rising to meet the needs. Healing, nurturing, rescuing, honoring, protecting, caring, inspiring. The work of philanthropic organizations of all sizes, across all missions, has never been more important. And it's donors and volunteers like you who make all this possible. Thank you. Together, we change the world. The Nonprofit Alliance.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company is recalling over 105,000 SUVs over seat belts that may fail to retract or extend, according to a March 28th report from NHTSA. The recall covers 2018 to 20 Lincoln Navigators and Ford Expeditions. NHTSA opened the investigation into the SUV seat belts last year. Ford is not aware of any accidents or injuries related to the defect, according to the report. On affected vehicles, the driver or front passenger seatbelt retractor pretensioners may deploy inadvertently, the report said. The seatbelt will then be locked in position, unable to retract or extend, increasing the likelihood of injury in a crash. The defect is because of oxidation in a portion of the seatbelt pretensioner. ZF is the manufacturer, according to the report. Those impacted can take their vehicle to a Ford or Lincoln dealer to have their pretensioners replaced. Ford has a reimbursement plan for those who have already paid for the issue to be remedied. Dealers were notified of the recall on March 31st. Owners will be notified from April 14th through the 18th. And in our next story, Lucid Motors is recalling over 4,200 vehicles over floor mats that could move and interfere with the accelerator returning to idle, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on March 24th. The recall covers the company's all-weather floor mats in the Lucid Air. Lucid isn't aware of any crashes or accidents resulting from the defect, the report said. If the mats on the driver's side of the vehicle move out of position, they could interfere with the accelerator, increasing the risk of a crash, the report said. The mats can shift because they are secured to the floor by nibs rather than anchors. Vischer Caravel, based in the Netherlands, manufactures the mats according to the NHTSA documents. The issue was noticed in August of 2024 when a Lucid employee reported that the accelerator pedal had been momentarily stuck while driving. Lucid will refund the cost of the floor mats to those affected, and those under the recall can remove the mats from their vehicles. For those with vehicle models that have mat anchors, they can purchase a version of the mats with the holes to fit around the anchors. The safety of our customers and their families is the highest priority, a Lucid spokesman said in an email to Automotive News. Lucid has begun contacting the owners of vehicles for which these mats were originally designed to notify them of the recalls and to provide further information. Lucid has not sold this version of the floor mats since February. Dealers were notified of the recall on March 24th, and owners will be notified on May 23rd. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
Back with you on Oxford News this week, Oxford Sports, and yes, with the departure last year of Coach Line, Oxford recently just announced that Trevor Potts will be the new head varsity football coach. Potts has been a part of the Oxford staff since back in 2020. He brings 15 years of coaching experience from Rochester Adams. He has played a major role in growing the program and is ready to lead the Wildcats into the next chapter under the Friday Night Lights. Again, congratulating him on his new position. Let's go Wildcats. Oxford varsity basketball player Jake Champagne has made history once again. He's the very first boys basketball player to be selected for a first-team All-State award. Champagne has broken several other records during his time on the team, with 45 points scored in a game against Lake Orion back in February. He broke the team's record that stood for 50 years. He shattered the school's scoring record, finishing with 1,500 points this season. He averaged 25 points and 7 rebounds per game. Once again, just a fantastic player and a great role model for the community. Jake Champagne on that fantastic season. Once again, making history right here in Oxford. That's going to wrap it up in sports. I know Dave Kenny's got another segment in our last story today. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. Terry Stiles will have that. We're calling it Headed to World Champs. Terry will have that. You're watching Oxford News this week.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Honeybees in the U.S. may have just experienced their most severe die-off on record, and we don't know exactly why. As of right now, it does look like this is going to be the largest colony loss that we've experienced in the last 25 years, and probably in U.S. history, says Scott McCart at Cornell University in New York. Beekeepers in the U.S. often experience some colony losses over the winter. For instance, about 37% of managed colonies were lost between October of 2023 and April of 2024. But the scale of die-offs this winter seems to be far higher. According to figures released yesterday by Project APIS-M, a nonprofit that supports U.S. beekeepers, about 55% of colonies, an estimated 1.6 million, have been lost. The losses seem to have been particularly severe for commercial beekeepers, those with 500 or more colonies. Project APIS-M's figures suggest about 62% of commercial hives have been lost, whereas losses for hobbyists who keep just a handful of colonies are about 51%. That's a surprise, says Juliana Rangel at Texas A&M University. Commercial beekeepers are very knowledgeable. Their livelihoods depend on keeping the bees alive, she says. So that group typically experiences lower losses than hobbyists. Project APIS-M estimates U.S. beekeepers will lose at least $600 million because of the die-offs. But the full economic cost will be far greater because beekeepers hire out their colonies to help U.S. farmers pollinate important crops, including almonds, blueberries, and apples. Globally, honeybees are responsible for about half of crop pollination, says McCart. There is also the possibility the die-off is affecting other pollinating insects and not just honeybees, says Rangel. That might lead to broader impacts on ecosystems across North America. I think of honeybees as a little like the canary in the coal mine, she says. However, the idea honeybees can tell us about wider ecological impacts is complicated because they are a domesticated and non-native species with unusual biology. In most of North America's native bee species, only the queen survives the winter to reproduce the following year. Honeybees are different. The entire colony overwinters, says Megan Milbrath at Michigan State University. The colony produces a special cohort of bees that have extra fat storage in their bodies to survive through the winter months when there's no incoming food, she says. The dead bees seem to have belonged to this special cohort, which could help to narrow down the possible causes of the die-off, says Milbraith. For instance, many U.S. honeybee colonies are infected with potentially lethal varroa mites. They're tick-like parasites that feed on the bees' internal fluids. The mite population in the hive usually peaks in the autumn when the winter bees are beginning to emerge, so they could be partially responsible for the winter losses, says Milbraith. But this idea doesn't rule out other factors, such as pesticides, which bees can bring into the hive while foraging in winter months. Winter bees may die when they consume pesticide-tainted food stores later in the season, she says. McCart and his colleagues at Cornell are currently analyzing samples from some of the affected colonies to look for signs of pesticide exposure. There are other labs looking at other angles, whether a new pathogen has cropped up, for instance, he says. We do have some data, but I don't have any results yet, he says. We're working on it, so keep it up. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Save those honeybees.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? What is vascular dementia, Lewy body, FTD, TBI, and CTE? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. I did too, and I learned. My wife Ginny developed dementia. I didn't know what to do or what was coming next. I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you a free guide to understanding dementia. It's filled with facts about dementia, care planning, how doctors can help, and ways to keep your brain as healthy as possible. The Dementia Society of America is a national nonprofit, and we're ready to answer your questions. You want to live life to the fullest. I know that. Ginny did too, and I'm confident that we can help. Get your copy of the guide. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
In our last story this week, the Oxford RoboCats are headed to the World Championships. They are a team here in Oxford and once again qualified for first World Championships in Houston, Texas. After a long weekend of competing, the first in Michigan Championships came to a close for the team earlier this month. As the captain of Alliance 3, the team came up short of their goal of winning the APTIV field after getting eliminated in a double elimination playoff. What a tough one for them. The team thanks their alliance partners, the Goon Squad, out of Brownstone and Baywatch Robotics from Harbor Springs. Overall, the team finished 36th out of over 500 schools in Michigan. So they will be heading to Houston to take on nationals. Congratulations to all of the Wildcats and good luck at the Worlds. How fun for them.
Good stuff there. One of the our old interns, Mike Ontw, who actually has a daughter that's on the swim team, his son, and I believe, I'm not sure if the daughter's involved, but is on that robotics team, and he's always sending me stuff, and I mean,
It's so exciting.
it's amazing what these people, they can do, the young kids can do.
Unbelievable. They often become engineers of some sort. So my niece years ago was involved on the Clarkston team.
Right.
And my brother-in-law is still involved with robotics, but they moved to New Hampshire and they watch Oxford on their computer. They watch Oxford compete right from New Hampshire. It's just
they should send us some video of that. We'll put that on or something.
Well, it's televised for sure. I mean, there's a way that anyone that wants to watch the robotics team
Very cool.
compete. Yeah, it's really fun. It's an exciting event, really, to watch those kids. They're so calm and composed, and congratulations, you guys. You've been doing good for several years now.
Exactly. We're congratulating that robotics team along with our athletic teams and all the talent we have, the cheerleaders and everything. In that segment that we don't label, but we love to chat about, and we're chatting about it now. Do we have a book we're dealing with?
I'm listening to a writer I've listened to before, Foley, Jodie Foley, and it's called The Midnight Festival. And there's always a murder mystery, and she's just a really good writer. Yeah, I know. I've got 2 books going at the same time.
How do you do that?
I don't know. And the other one's called How to Be a Leader.
Read the murder mystery.
I know.
I
can do. It's a self-help book, so I can do about a chapter, and then I go back to my fun story.
I mean, a good way with all the situations, like if you're headed up north, maybe traffic or anything, and I tell you, maybe pack a book in the car or something like that, or whatever.
And you can rent them you can download books from your library.
Right.
And download it on your phone and then play it in your car. So my sister and I drive out to New Hampshire to the other sisters.
Yeah.
It's a 13-hour ride, and we've gone through many books on that ride because we go out there every year for the marathon. I'm not this year, but normally we go for the Boston Marathon.
I saw that thing yesterday. It was Siblings Day. You had a nice little luncheon with your family.
That was my son's wedding.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, it looked pretty nice. I was like, wow,
you.
pretty cool. They got together and they're eating, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, we do that every now and again.
That's awesome.
I love to eat.
Not a problem.
So it's lunchtime, so we're about to go.
Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Oxford News this week. Again, hopefully you're liking our new format, and obviously Terry's doing a news update on a regular basis. And again, we're happy to have you along with us. OCTV actually can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191. Channel 99 on that AT&T UVerse system. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, and the Amazon Fire Stick, and what's that other one? Oh, Roku, the app. That's where I watch.
Your favorite.
Yeah, she's like, you watch it too much. If you have a show idea, maybe you'd like to volunteer at OCTV, we could use your volunteerism. Give our office a call at 248-628-9658. Special thank you going out to the one and only producer, director extraordinaire, who always makes sure we sound and look good, Kyle Snage, news writer, Allison Miller, our station manager, Terry Stiles. For everyone right here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time. And again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week.
Bye-bye.